Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we share the profound insights of Dr. Gabor Maté on parenting and child development. Dr. Maté emphasizes that children do not experience our intentions, no matter how heartfelt. They experience what we manifest in tone and behavior. Let's explore how our actions shape our children's emotional well-being and the importance of nurturing authentic connections.
Older daughter, Mabel, will be 2 on Sunday. Guess what I was doing the other night? The other night, well, it was last night as a matter of fact, she was tired and having kind of tantrums. So she was starting to cry and I goes, would you think that you would stop crying if I gave you chocolate? Right?
Yeah.
And she went, chocolate? Like that. She would. She sort of agreed. My wife went, do not give this child chocolate as a means for addressing her emotional distress, which I obviously, know already. But I see that I do not like that child suffering.
Well, no, hold on a second. So do you want me to deconstruct this for you?
Yes.
What were you feeling when she was crying?
Inadequate.
Okay, now, let me tell you something. Inadequate is not a feeling. Inadequate is a point of view.
Sad?
Okay, you're feeling sad. What do you feel when you think you're inadequate? You feel sad.
Yeah.
Now, is this the first time in your life that you felt inadequate?
Yeah, it's never come up before. I've always just felt really great.
In other words, how far does it go back with you?
Always.
Okay, in other words, you're projecting your childhood onto your child. That's what you were bringing to the room at that moment, okay? And it was so unbearable for you. You had to give him chocolate.
I can't see that again.
Okay, yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay. I can't see that again.
In other words, you're not ready to be with your daughter unless she makes you feel pleased, unless she makes you feel comfortable. I'm not accusing you of that globally.
Well, it sounds like it, mate.
I'm saying
we're recording this.
That's what showed up at that moment.
Right.
What showed up at that moment is some pain that you haven't quite resolved in yourself
no,
yet.
my first addiction was chocolate.
Well, there you go. And you talk about that. And so what your daughter needed was just a daddy who can be okay with her anger.
Right. So you just be there and you soak that shit up.
Sweetheart, you're really angry, aren't you? Yeah.
Right, you just tell them they're angry.
But not also what Jordan Peterson says. Because what Jordan Peterson says, an angry 2-year-old needs to sit by themselves until their anger is over. In other words,
that's bad advice.
It's anti-child advice because what you're saying to the child is you're acceptable to me only under certain circumstances.
Well, that's not a good look.
It's not what you want.
No.
What you want is that child to be able to experience your anger and have that anger be accepted and not get stuck in it. The way she's not get stuck in it is when somebody can hold it.
Right,
so
I can hold it.
You can actually hold her anger if you're not threatened by it. If you're not taken back to your childhood state of sadness and sense of inadequacy, you can totally well hold that child's anger.
Right.
That's all she needs from you.
Right, to be able to hold it.
To be able, and then if she can hold her anger, then later on she won't need to turn to chocolate to soothe herself.
So part of adulthood, I've thought for a while, struggled to put it into practice, is an ability that when external things hit you, you don't then go, right, everyone, you're fine. Like you are able to go, okay, I can handle it. Maybe go to a mentor or something.
Yeah.
And deal with it with them, but you don't, I don't, start kicking the dog or shouting or being a problem. Manhood or womanhood or whatever is appropriate is the state where the external world can be handled without you sort of passing on the virus of negative consequence.
Well, what you're saying is you neither have to act it in or push it down or act it out by hitting somebody. You can just be with it, or at least you can be conscious of it. It's good to ask for a mentor's help. That's fine. But then you're taking responsibility for it. In other words, what an adult can do, which a child cannot do, and they should not be expected to be able to do before they're old enough for it, is to take responsibility for their own emotional
They
state.
can't take responsibility. They're literally not neurologically developed enough.
And that's why it's so bad to punish kids, because you punish them for something that they're incapable of doing or not doing. So this is why these timeout methods and these punitive methods don't work.
We do not punish. All right. What about when she's shaking the other one, the littler
baby.
one, yeah, in the bouncer, and she's shaking that. And
Okay.
like this morning, she was doing that. I was tired. I felt some guilt because of some addictive behaviour that I'd previously done. I felt low energy. The child is shaking the bouncer, and I like want to control this very. I felt like a sort of a fascistic rush run through me of like, I want to control you.
Dr. Gabor Maté critiques traditional parenting practices that isolate angry children, asserting that such methods convey conditional acceptance and may hinder emotional development. He emphasizes the importance of adults being able to hold a child's anger, providing a safe space for expression without feeling threatened themselves. This approach allows children to process their emotions healthily. Maté also addresses the common parental experience of feeling inadequate during a child's emotional outbursts, advocating for compassionate responses that acknowledge both the child's and the parent's emotional states. By fostering an environment of unconditional acceptance and understanding, parents can better support their children's emotional growth.
Well, first of all, it's great that you're that self-aware, because you don't want to act from that fascistic rush. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it being there. It's inside all of us. But as long as you're aware of it, it won't control you. Now, it may be that your older child has some aggression towards the younger child. Why the hell would she not? Did she ask for somebody to come into the home and share her parents with her? Did she ask for the parental love to be divided between herself and somebody else? Why the hell should she love it? Why shouldn't she have some aggression around it? And so the question is, how is she feeling at the moment? You say to her, no, you don't shake the baby. You say that because you don't shake the baby. The baby's not for shaking. But you don't make her wrong for it, and you don't punish her for it. You simply intervene in a compassionate way, not from your fascistic impulses. Because
no fascistic impulses in child rearing.
First rule of parenting: no fascistic impulses.
I'm thinking of relying on these fascistic impulses to raise all of my kids.
Well, good luck. You get the results you want. If I may be self-serving enough to mention, one of my books that is being published in England is entitled "Hold On to Your Kids," and it's a parenting book. And it's all about attachment-based parenting. It's about parenting children from the perspective of understanding their needs rather than our expectations. And in this culture, and this pertains to addiction as well, kids get too early hooked into the peer group to find their validation and their companionship. And when that happens, the parents lose their power to parent. And
do you mean in adolescence? Peer groups?
It happens young before then.
They get hooked into the peer groups. That becomes their sort of psychic state sustenance.
That's what happens, because you see, if you look at how human beings evolved, we evolved in hunter-gatherer groups, when children were always around parents and adults, and not just one parent, and not just one set of parents, but the whole tribe would be your mentor and your parent. Now that's gone, but from the point of human evolution, it hasn't been gone that long.
No.
Now, the human brain needs to attach. It needs to connect to somebody. We're just wired that way, especially the immature brain, because without attachment, we don't survive. The infant does not survive without attachment. But we're not told who to attach to. Nature doesn't tell us who our attachment figure should be. A duckling hatching from the egg, in the absence of the mother duck, will imprint on a moving toy, which is not designed to bring her up to adulthood. In our culture, our kids lose the contact with adults very early, or spend most of the time with other kids, and now their brains connect with other kids' brains. And now they become each other's mentors and models and go-tos. And the result is prolonged immaturity. The result is resistance to parents. The resistance is the absorption of immature values that we see acted out throughout the culture. So that book is called Hold On to Your Kids.
Hold On to Your Kids.
Why parents need to matter more than peers.
I'll read it.
And if you look at addiction, in what context do most kids get introduced to addictive substances?
Peers.
It's in the context of the peer group. And it's because of the loss of the adult influence.
Right, it needs to replace the adult influence.
Yeah.
As we end up today's video on Your Inner Child Matters, let's reflect on Dr. Gabor Maté's profound insights into parenting and child development. He reminds us that our children need our unconditional acceptance, especially during their most challenging moments. By embracing their emotions without judgment and addressing our own vulnerabilities, we create a nurturing environment where both parent and child can thrive. Remember, fostering genuine connections with our children not only supports their emotional well-being, but also deepens our own self-understanding. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, let's continue to honor the inner child within us all.